Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As many of you know, the Quran put forth a challenge to bring something like it. However, instead of the disbelievers taking part in that challenge, they waged war against the Muslims. Now keep in mind, this was a society that thrived on these challenges and always never backed down from such challenges, and they took part in these poetry battles, if you may. However, instead of taking part in the challenge, you had a lot of these major poets like Hassan bin Thabit, Ka'b bin Malik, Abdullah bin Rawaha, and even Labid himself accepting Islam instead. Now flash forward 1,400 years later and you have some masakeen who are taking up the Quran challenge and thinking that they've actually succeeded. Now one of these masakeen attempted to take up the Quranic challenge, and he produced a surah which he called Faqaf. And I'm going to make an example out of this surah and demonstrate to you how bad these Quran imitations really are. Not only that, but I'm going to be using this surah to demonstrate how eloquent the Quran actually is. Alright, so first a quick background. This video was re-uploaded a few times on YouTube and has over 80,000 views. The person that produced these verses has a degree in classical Arabic and Islamic history. The surah was called Faqaf, which is a wordplay on Faqaf. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I don't believe that this piece deserves to even be critiqued, but I'm just doing this to show you how those who attempt the Quran challenge can't really escape the eloquence of the Quran, which they admit without even realizing. You're gonna see what I mean in a bit. Okay, so I'm splitting my criticism into two parts. The first part is gonna be about the ridiculous meanings, and the second part I'm gonna be focusing on the examples of eloquence that are ripped off from the Quran.
فقاف إنا خلقنا الدجاج خلقا وسلقنا البعيد سلقا وأطلقنا مع الرعد برقا وجعلنا الجو تلقا فمن يكفر بآياتنا شنقناه شنقا.
Notice here the author speaks of the signs of the Lord. These signs include God's creation of chickens, God boiling eggs, God sending thunder and lightning, and God making air fresh. Now, first of all, boiling an egg is not a sign of God. Anyone can boil an egg. Secondly, he says that thunder is sent. Now, thunder isn't sent. Thunder is the cause of lightning. Lightning can be sent, and thunder is not sent. In other words, this is just poor word choice. Now, let's carry on.
فمن يكفر بآياتنا شنقناه شنقا ثم خلقناه خلقا.
Okay, so this is ridiculous, as it makes no sense. You don't hang someone, then choke them. You do one or the other. What's the point of choking someone who has already been hanged? It's stupid!
ومن يترك باب فاسقة طرقا.
Notice the emphasis here. He knocks the door a knocking. Why? What is so special about knocking this door? Why is there an emphasis here? Now, the only reason I can think of this person used this word, a knocking, at the end is because this person was thinking to themselves, I need the letter that ends with the qaf. Taraqa yatruqu. Okay, so knock. He knocked. A knocking, yes. And when you do that, you sacrifice the meaning of the text. That's not eloquent.
فلا أقسم ببريق الدينار ولا أقسم بنحيق الحمار إني أنا الله الخالق القهار.
And again here, I swear by the braying of the ass. How is this eloquent? Just because it rhymes. I mean, look at how it lines up to the next verse. So the creator of the brave, the donkey. How is this supposed to be eloquent? So rule number one, if it's stupid, it's not eloquent. It doesn't matter if you rhyme it, sing it, or beatbox it. It's garbage.
أما الذين اتقوا ربهم فإنهم هم الأخيار لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار وصنادق ويسكي وراقصات بلا خمار.
So there is an issue here. Why does it say dancing girls with no veil? Because dancing girls with no veil is a given. Of course they aren't wearing veils. What is the point of enticing someone with a dancer with no veil? So I'll tell you why this was said. It was said because they wanted to force a rhyme at the end of the verse. So they ended the verse with the word veil, khimar, to fit in with rivers and har. Now by doing this, you sabotage the meaning of the verse for the sake of the rhyme. Okay, so let's just move on to the good stuff. Alright, so here I'm going to provide examples of how the author of these verses submits to the Quranic challenge without realizing. Here's an example.
أما الذين اتقوا ربهم فإنهم هم الأخيار لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار.
So verse 21 here is a direct ripoff from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses these exact words in 225, 5119, 989, and 8511. Now, why would someone who's trying to meet the challenge of the Quran directly rip off a verse that's been repeated so many times in the Quran? Is it perhaps because they didn't know how to express it better? Maybe. Also notice verse 20. The English says, they are the best. This isn't a precise translation. The word فَإِنَّهُمْ translates to they are. The word hum translates to they are as well. A better translation of this is they themselves are the best. This usage is a ripoff from verses like 2:12 where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of the hypocrites. They, the hypocrites, say, we are peacemakers. Now surely they themselves are the mischief makers, but they do not perceive. As you can see, the author is trying to imitate the Quran's style, but fails badly. This structure, which focuses on emphasis, is used to affirm a claim or a view that contradicts the original claim. In this case, it's only when the hypocrites say we are peacemakers that Allah uses the structure of they themselves are mischief makers. So the author of these verses is just using these words because they sound cool, but in reality this person has no idea about the way they're supposed to be used. Anyhow, here's another example.
فلا أقسم ببريق الدينار ولا أقسم بنحيق الحمار.
Notice the term la, which suggests negation, is not used in English. This is because the term la here is used as an affirmation. In other words, it does say I swear. So this is linguistically correct, even though it seems to say I do not swear. So where did the author get this idea from? That's right. He learned this form of emphasis from the Quran in 56:75, 69:38, 70:40, 81:15, and 84:16. Let me explain one more time. So the author of these verses is so influenced by the Quran, they're submitting to the eloquence of the Quran without even realizing. They cannot escape plagiarizing it, and they cannot escape using the Quranic sentence structures. Now, producing something like it doesn't mean rip it off. It doesn't mean copy the verses and just change one word here and one word there and then you produce something like it. No, the challenge is to produce something on the same level of eloquence. Now, keep in mind that these examples that I've mentioned, examples like فَإِنَّهُمْ هُمْ and فَلَا أُقْسِمْ, these are introduced by the Quran. Arabs don't speak like this. The person who has used these words never spoke like this in their lives. However, when they're trying to be eloquent, they cannot escape using Quranic structure. When the author of these verses attempts to meet the Quranic challenge while failing to express themselves without using exclusive Quranic structure, this shows that they have failed the challenge and testifies to the eloquence of the Quran. In other words, they're submitting to the Quran without even realizing. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel. And of course, as always, if you got any questions, you can contact me via my Twitter. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين.